matching up pretty well in pass coverage. I think we've been doing a more advanced job there. And, just get better at tackling. I mean, it's a science that you never practice live. So, those, even when you make the tackle, is it 3 or is it 5? Because that leads to the 3rd and 1s, 2s and 3s that make it difficult. So, I mean, I think it's just that tackling and how to continue to get more physical tackles, speed of the game tackles, while also still taking care of them at the same time during practice.
You guys seem to have some good depth. Are you guys still trying to figure out who your top 2 backers are?
No, I think Sonny and Cody have established themselves. But I like what, Arvell and CJ are doing. And Gabe in limited reps has done well also.
Stay in the front row, Austin.
Jim, what did you think of the defensive tackles there without Tyleek on Saturday?
I thought Taiwan showed up, definitely. Kind of flashed a couple times in terms of being athletic and running to the ball. So I thought he made some good strides for himself and the team.
Go 3rd row, Andy Anders.
Sticking with the defensive tackles, you talked about Taiwan obviously, but with Hero, Jason, Caden, where's the rest of that group at, specifically at 3 tech and then Caden? How has he sort of elevated that nose guard depth behind time?
Caden's, he's interesting because he's very talented, plays hard, I think it's a matter of consistency with him, and predictability, I would say, so if you flash outside your gap and you make a play, great, and the next time you flash outside your gap and don't make a play, then, we have to be disciplined in our approach. But I think he's certainly shown the ability to mess things up in there.
Go next door to Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
And just to follow up on Taiwan, if Tyleek wasn't able to go this week, would you see him as your starting free tech based on how he played?
We haven't really discussed that yet because we're hopeful on Tyleek, but I think there's a chance.
Do you think, just regardless that Taiwan has earned himself more consistent playing time based on that performance?
Well, based on that performance, yes. It's only one performance, but he did a good job.
Go right behind with Tony Kerneman.
I don't believe there's a defensive player of the game announced.
Correct.
Why and what went into that decision?
Well, we just, you got to speak truth, and while we had some champions, we had no one that we thought really showed, a silver bullet of the game performance.
Come here to the front, Stephen Means.
In terms of the defensive tackle, did you think going into this game that maybe there was more depth at the defensive tackle than maybe the film showed you, or even live on Saturday showed you actually there was?
I can think whatever I want, right? It doesn't matter until you actually show up in a game, in front of 100,000 and do it, So I think you just really don't know until a guy gets a significant amount of plays. I mean, you can get in here and spot performance here or there, or when the game is in control, but you have to be able to do it when the game is on the line for a significant amount of reps. So you really don't know until it happens.
Go on the aisle here, Dylan Davis.
Going back to the linebackers, Arvell said last week that he hasn't really worked much at the will, who's mainly Mike. how difficult would it be to get him ready to play that position if you needed to, or is that just not an option that's on the table at this point?
No, it's not an option. I mean, with Arvell, he's on a structured course to greatness. So he's climbing that step by step. So you want to throw anything, don't throw a monkey wrench in there.
Behind Dylan, we'll go to Central. Jim, what did you like from the secondary handling an offense on Saturday that you guys probably won't see a lot of moving forward?
Well, we only gave up one explosive pass. So, I think gave up 2 explosive runs. So 5 explosives over 3 games in terms of the way we look at it is a big deal, and I think that has a lot to do with our secondary. Making sure that we keep things in front, that we contest when there's an opportunity to contest.
Whether it's air raid principles, you guys don't face the option ever, but these one-off offenses that you won't see a lot in Big Ten play. How much different is it to see that and then to pivot into conference play, knowing that you really won't see that again?
It's not, because you have to have the concepts and fundamentals and disciplines of your defense. They hold up. If you're creating new things every week based on the offense, I mean, you can change up your calls obviously based on the offense, but the fundamentals, the technique, those consistencies, they apply across the board.
Come back here to the front, Tim, Matt.
Yeah, just 2 quickies. Arvell, I want to follow up on that. I mean, do you remember in preseason camp, was it in preseason camp where you saw him, where the light bulb was really coming on? I mean, when did it start showing up? Was it in the spring, or was it, and sometimes the light bulb, it flashes and sometimes it comes on. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, if you've been
Preseason.
Yeah.
And I would say that's correct. It's a flashing light, flashing light, blinking light, So we're just trying to get that thing to stay on consistently.
Yeah. And that sounds like a Motel 6 thing. You called an all-out blitz, basically. For one of another term, on one of their touchdown drives. Didn't quite get there. They converted, or it looked like an all-out. I mean, C.J. Hicks up the middle, things like that. I mean, I wanted to get in your head a second. When that doesn't quite work, do you put it away for later? Do you go, well, somebody's already seen that now, we can't do that, the way they picked it up? How do you operate in that regard?
Yeah, you definitely want to stay multiple in those aspects. So, you have, again, it's not impossible, but I think when you're creating new things every week, that's not as good as like kind of already having a toolbox. So you're right. Yeah, you have a bunch in the toolbox, and maybe you pick one, and then you say, okay, I'll run a different version of that next time. Yeah.
Go right next door, Joey Kaufman.
Jim, it looked like Sonny was wearing the green dot on Saturday. Did he also do that against Western, and is he going to keep wearing that with even Cody back, or how does that go?
I can't remember if he did that against Western. I really don't know. I think Cody had it. That's what I thought. So it went Sonny, Cody, Sonny. Yeah. I think that can kind of flip back and forth. I think the more experience you get both those guys doing it, the better, and because one goes down, the other guy does it. But so I think that can remain fluid.
Is that kind of the goal?
Yeah, the goal is to have, we kind of rotate it around, and so they both can do it.
Next to Joey, Bill.
We all know how talented Caleb is. He hasn't had a chance to kind of make that signature play. It just hasn't come to him yet. But how impressive has he been, even if he hasn't kind of had that signature play? What has he added to this defense?
Yeah, he's just, like I've always said about him, professionalism and seriousness to his work, you know, and coachability, you know, just makes mistakes. He's human, you know, but he fixes things. So the slight nuances that we do week to week, he picks them up like that, and he's real serious about it.
I think I asked you last week, basically your defense has played close to perfect. You were like, I don't want to hear it. The fact that you had some issues on Saturday is actually, from your perspective, a healthy thing where you can say, look, there's a reason that I can't let you get complacent because we did screw this up, we did screw that up. Is that a good thing heading into especially Big Ten play?
No, it's never a good thing. It's not a good thing, you know, but you have to make the best of it, you know. So it's learning experience, you know. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, this happened. Here's how we didn't play it right. Here's how we have to play it right. So we learn from it. You know, you learn. I think Bear Bryant said you learn a lot from a loss. We're not allowed to lose around here, so but you learn even more from, you know, a win where you don't play your absolute best. So it's probably where you're heading, but I don't ever think it's a good thing. You just just take what you have and make the best of it.
Were you frustrated Saturday?
Was I what?
Frustrated Saturday?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you know, our expectation has to be perfection and domination all the time. You know, I thought we had a slow start. I thought I could have done a better job. And then you get in the start, but you get into those situations where it's like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and you kind of scramble around and and you don't get off the field, you know, on the 3rd play or the 6th play, and then I think that's when you get into trouble. You know, you get off the field that first 3rd and 3 or even the 2nd third. I mean, you know, maybe, you know, you may not see those 2 touchdowns. You know, I mean, it's just kind of the way the game rolls, which, you know, brings up the importance of getting off the field, 3rd down.
The second half, y'all made, I mean, you know what I mean? It was a totally different.
Yeah, we did what we're supposed to do.
All right, we got the last question, Cameron T. Robinson.
Jim, kind of going back to something you said about Caden, you mentioned sometimes he'll flash out of his gap and make a big play, and then next time he may flash out of gap and something happens. And this isn't particularly about Caden, but when you see guys make a play outside of maybe the gap or the role they're supposed to be in, how do you balance that with them in the sense of, we like the play you made, but that's not what exactly you're supposed to be doing in this scheme of what we're doing?
Well, if you do what you're supposed to do, you know, and then when you flash to do something else, you make the play 100% of the time, I'm cool with that.